Welcome back to another episode recapping The Single Life. We are on Season 4, Episode 9. Let's dive right in, so you know what that means. Sit down, buckle up, and let's all go for a ride. Let's head on over to New Orleans to meet up with Tyray. Last episode, Tyray went on his first date ever, and despite drowning in a pool of his own sweat, the date goes pretty well and does a good job at building up his confidence. They end up parting ways saying that they'll stay friends because Teresa is recently divorced and she doesn't exactly believe in long-distance relationships. It is a new day and Tyray hops right back up on that horse called Dayton and he heads out with his brothers to a bar to continue getting his Mac on.
Good night. Yeah, good night.
I'm making extreme progress in getting out of my comfort zone. Tonight, I'm gonna go out and just try to put myself out there a little more.
He starts flirting with some baddies, and then a thick biddy on the dance floor named Raina catches his eye.
She's the life of the party. All eyes are on her. Raina's really pretty, and she's thick. I think thick girls are it girls.
Thick girls are it girls. I love that. I'ma slap it on a t-shirt, wear that shirt every day. The two are both clearly feeling each other and they step outside to get to know each other a little bit more intimately.
Nothing right now. I take care of my mom. She got sick. Thank you.
My mom was really sick too.
Tyray, surprisingly with no trouble, asks her out, and Raina is definitely down to clown, and she gives him her number.
I think Tyray is a ball of sunshine. I feel like we click really nicely. When I first saw him, I just want to give him a big hug.
The next day is date night, and Tyray and his brothers head over to meet up with Raina, who has invited them to a house party. The fact that my first reaction to this was, who in their right mind goes on a first date to a house party? It made me realize that I'm a little old and definitely too boring, because that did not sound fun to me at all. If someone was like, come meet me at a house party, I'd love to hang out, I would be like, no thank you. But Tyray is very pleased.
Raina invited me to a house party. I like the idea of meeting at a party. It kind of takes the pressure off a formal date.
They start chatting it up and oh my gosh, Raina's eyelashes are humongous. So I'm not very well versed in makeup. I'll wear it for special events, but every day I pretty much just slap on a little bit of blush, give myself some eyebrows, and then head out. So lashes are pretty foreign territory to me. Are lashes like those heavy? Because it looks like it would be a workout for my eyelids to try and stay open. Anyway, the two look like they're having a pretty good time and they have a really good back and forth kind of banter going.
What made you want to invite me out tonight?
I thought you were cool. I thought you were pretty too. I like your personality.
Thanks.
Your voice.
First, I got you.
Until Raina points at his Mardi Gras beads and asks him if she can have them.
You gotta do something to get them.
Ooh. I mean, this could have been a smooth pickup line, but I just think Tyray's execution of it was pretty clumsy. Plus, for me, this is coming on really strong because they just met like 2 seconds ago. Raina looks a little taken aback, but she does end up giving him a kiss on the cheek and scores his beads.
I was hoping to kiss Raina on her lips.
But it was a little awkward. I don't want to come on too strong or not strong enough.
Tyray invites Raina back to the hotel pool to hang out. He goes to wrangle up his brothers, and the two of them play their parts as wing brothers very well and tell Tyray to head back without them. So Tyray and Raina head back to the hotel, they dip their toes in the water, and they continue to have pretty good small talk.
What's your favorite animal?
I was gonna say dragon, but those aren't real.
They're real. They are real to us. Mine's a unicorn. Like,
Yeah, see? So we got mythical beasts.
you know what I'm saying?
They transition into deeper topics like what they look for in a partner, and Tyray goes on to ask her if she's open to a long-distance relationship or if it's too soon to be thinking about that. Considering you have known her for 2 hours, yeah, it's too soon.
Too soon.
Tyray strikes out again, but he's happy things went well despite not being able to land a kiss or a girlfriend.
The limited time we've had together so far has been real nice. No matter what the end goal is in terms of our relationship, I'm always in his corner.
And he heads back into the hotel excited for all of the possibilities of future dates. Heading on down to Miami to meet up with Debbie. Last episode, Debbie ends up meeting Reuben's father, and Reuben tells her that if their relationship should continue getting more serious, she's going to have to consider moving down to Miami because he has to be there to continue taking care of his parents, which leads Debbie to start worrying about Julian's reaction to this possible move. It is a new day, and Debbie and Julian are in the car heading over to meet up with Reuben. Julian is just being the biggest negative Nancy, and he starts off with some criticism towards Debbie.
You put way too much makeup on sometimes.
Well, it just melts off in this heat.
Before he moves on to criticize Reuben.
No seatbelt, no helmet. This shows how safety-minded he is. So he already gets deducted points for safety.
Debbie says that she's just testing the waters, and so far, she really likes how Reuben treats her, and she likes how Reuben makes her feel. They meet up with Reuben at like this color me mine, only it's a wall, and they are spray painting it. The two men greet each other.
Interesting outfit.
Yeah, hey, matches the wall.
Yeah, I see.
And Julian just cannot stop playing bad cop.
We do have permission from the owner to spray paint this, right? I just want to make sure. Okay, I just want to make sure.
He tells us that Debbie is super flighty and fails to always ask important questions, and that's what he's here to do. He's here to lay down the law.
So what kind of work you do, Reuben?
Huh?
What kind of work you do?
I am in lighting. I ran a lighting company for 10 years.
Well, thank God he's there to ask the tough questions, am I right? Julian asks Reuben what initially drew him to Debbie, and Reuben is definitely nervous, but he is doing his best.
I love blondes. I've always liked blonde. All the women I think I've ever dated in my life have been blondes.
Julian's got this permanent stank face on, and he goes on to ask if Reuben has ever been in trouble with the law.
That sounds like a weird question. You ever been in trouble with the law?
Nope.
Never been in trouble with law?
Nope.
Never been arrested?
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything.
Julian legit looks kind of disappointed that Reuben is an upstanding citizen. Debbie does not like confrontation, so she's continuing to spray paint and supports Reuben from afar spiritually.
Ain't no way I'm butting into that. And I'm hoping Reuben realizes my son loves me and wants to protect me.
Julian then goes on to ask Reuben if he's aware of his mother's previous dating history because her previous relationships have caused the family a lot of turmoil.
How mom met this person, how similar y'all met, right? She ended up packing up her life, moving to Morocco. The guy was 24 years old.
What?
This feels a little weird to me, like Julian giving Reuben all of these specific details that I really think should be coming from Debbie. And we know that Debbie is capable of providing this information because she just did it with Russ. I think it's okay that Julian expresses his apprehension at their relationship, but he could have just said, my mom was in a previous relationship, it got really messy, and the circumstances of you meeting my mom are very similar to that relationship, so I can't help but be very worried that this is gonna go the same way. I think that is a much better way of expressing your concern that doesn't like blow up Debbie's spot. Julian goes on outing Debbie by saying that she's still sending money to the family of her ex. And again, it just feels a little icky the way that Julian handled this.
It's surprising to hear Debbie moved to Morocco to be with a 24-year-old guy. You know, that's quite a bit of an age difference. I'm concerned she still has a connection there. She's sending them money.
Reuben tells us that he needs to talk to Debbie about this because he wants someone fully committed to him, and he doesn't love the idea of someone being half with him and half still connected to an ex. Debbie comes over, and I guess Julian is happy with the damage that he's done, so he's like, you guys go have fun, you're on a little date, I'll just be over here. Flying on over to LA to meet up with Natalie. Last episode, Natalie ended up breaking up with Josh, saying that he is weak and not enough for her, and Josh agreed. It is a new day, and Natalie is reflecting on how she's not in the best place after her breakup.
I'm single, alone, in LA, with no job. All my dreams just feel kind of disappear at one time.
Despite feeling like she has hit rock bottom, she knows that she has to stiffen that upper lip and keep pushing forward. She tells us that she's wanted a child since she was 25 years old, but it just doesn't seem like the universe agrees.
In Ukraine, I did try with my second husband, and unfortunately, I lost. It was like 1 month and a half.
After the loss of her previous pregnancy, she was emotionally ruined, and she ended up turning to the church to rebuild herself. Natalie and her mom are in the car talking about Natalie wanting to start a family and whether or not she can have kids.
А я сказала, что если два человека любят, то они родят и так. И что будет дети, когда будет гармония.
Now, I get her mother is trying to be supportive, but I personally don't love when she says things like, if it's right, it'll happen. Over 20% of pregnancies are lost, and it's not because the person was not the right one, or the love wasn't strong enough, or that she wasn't meant to be a mother. Like, don't put the loss of a pregnancy on someone like that. They literally have no control over it. Anyway, Natalie recognizes that she is still very much wants to be a mother, that she is not going to stop getting older, and that she is not going to have an easy time finding Mr. Right. So the pair are heading to the best fertility clinic in LA to see what her options are for conceiving through artificial insemination. Natalie definitely needs some therapy because she is going way too TMI with this fertility doctor.
I want to have a child, but I wasn't really lucky with my choices in life.
The way that she is going so into detail, it just reminds me of when I used to work in tech support and people would come in with their broken stuff and tell me like, oh, I had such an awful day. My husband left me for a younger woman and their son is such an idiot. And I'm just over here like, okay, have you tried turning your phone off and back on again? The doctor clarifies her age again, and Natalie's mom starts talking about how age is nothing but a number.
То есть он хочет сказать, что сейчас самое время. Я хочу сказать, что он хочет сказать, что до 50 лет женщина может родить запросто, 55 даже.
Women can conceive at later ages. It is still a scientific fact that your fertility starts to decline in your mid-30s. It doesn't mean you can't conceive, it just means that it keeps getting harder. And at first, I was like, I don't really know why Natalie's mom is making such a big deal about this. I thought she wanted Natalie to have a kid like last week. But then after the fertility doctor walks her through the steps of what artificial insemination actually looks like, it's very clear that her mother is upset because she wants Natalie to have a baby with her husband.
На протяжении многих веков всегда было то, что природой заложено, и чтобы был отец рядом.
Another fertility specialist comes in and shows her some samples of sperm donors to show Natalie what selection would look like.
That's the baby photo.
It's like children pictures of the donors.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Natalie feels super awkward at reading the donor's personal essays because it makes her feel connected to him somehow, and her mother is very relieved when Natalie has this realization that she wants a baby with someone she loves who loves her back. Heading on over to Las Vegas to meet up with John. Last episode, Megan kept putting the screws to John and pressuring him into having more kids and moving down to Texas to be with her, and she ends up leaving without gaining the reassurance that she hoped for. Fast forward, it is a week later. John has no idea what's going on with his relationship anymore because Megan has pretty much been MIA.
I was hanging out with Pat and Thais, I was with Megan, and obviously things were said, and it pissed Megan off enough to question our relationship.
John meets up with Thais and Pat for some bowling, and Pat asks if Megan enjoyed her time in Vegas.
I wouldn't say she enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that's the words I would use.
Instead of apologizing for roasting him to a crisp and being the catalyst for John and Megan's current rift, Pat says that he was just doing John a favor.
If she's upset right now and it's like things that are truthful, like, does that mean the relationship's gonna work? I'm trying to make sure you don't drown.
John defends himself, saying that he is indeed a big boy and can handle himself. He reiterates that he said he did not want babies, not that he did not want to be a father, and that there is a difference, to which Pat says there absolutely isn't. And the roasting continues.
How do you know you really love her? Like,
you know, just like Pat wants you.
Oh my God.
It's the same
Me and
thing,
Pat
though.
is together like
You
3
are
years.
together.
I am starting to feel a little bad for John because I understand he is not known for being a responsible person, but it does seem like he genuinely wants to try and be a better person for Megan. And Pat and Thais are over here just continuing to push him back into his tiny little box. Like, express your concerns, of course, but you can still do that and be supportive of his desire for growth. So, quick story time. This reminds me of a time when I was in my mid-20s. I was in an industry that I was incredibly unhappy in, and I wanted to go back to school to try and have a career change. And I had this one friend who was trying to be supportive, but was just incredibly negative and would bring up my past habits and my past experiences to try and hinder me from pursuing it. And he would say things like, you're just gonna waste your time and money because you never finish anything you start. And, you know, this isn't gonna work because you are just gonna drop this like you drop everything else. Happy to report, I ended up cutting him out of my life, and I surrounded myself with people who are actually supportive of my dreams and goals, and yeah, I was able to find success in a different career. All this to say, it is an incredibly crappy feeling to genuinely want to be a better person, to try and be a better person, only to have the people closest to you tell you that you can't do it and they don't believe in you.
I'm in love with this woman, right? I don't care what you say. I'm gonna follow my heart.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, I hope you really think about it.
John heads home and FaceTimes Megan, and they try to get their relationship back on track.
Seems like our relationship's a little bit up in flames right now because, you know, she was told things that are not true.
Megan tells him she's been concerned because Pat and Thais painted him as still living this bachelor lifestyle where he's not responsible and he's not ready for the level of commitment that she wants. John tells her that he understands that he has less responsibilities than most people, but he loves her and he wants to take the next step. John tells her that he's gonna pack up his car, leave everything behind for her, and Megan is obviously elated to hear this. And with that, my Panda Pals, we are at the end of this recap. I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and I really hope you come along next time. And as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!